Hey everyone, this is Corey with Sims Investment Management. This is another monthly market update. And here we are at the end of October. We've got the election next week. And that's really what I want to focus on with this newsletter because, as you might expect, we get a lot of questions about it. So we've got the election next week. And then shortly thereafter, we've got the Fed's decision of if they're going to keep interest rates the same or cut them. And so, when we think about the election, we're kind of uniquely positioned because we have clients that are on both sides of the aisle, which is great. And so we get to listen to some of their concerns. And the irony is actually that a lot of the concerns that they have about either candidate, it's almost, if you put a blindfold on, you're hearing the same concerns from both sides. So rather than touch on any of those concerns, I'd rather touch on why they're not necessarily relevant to your portfolio. They might be very relevant to other areas of your life, and that I cannot help you with. But in regards to your investments in your portfolio, I want to hopefully alleviate some concerns and some fear there. So one of the points that I like to make is that since 1928, the S&P 500 has averaged around a 10% annualized rate of return. Now, what's interesting about that is the Democrats have occupied the White House for 48 of those years, and the Republicans have occupied it for 44 years. So pretty balanced, and yet we have averaged a 10% rate of return per year. The reason why we've averaged that is because earnings in the companies that we invest in have gone up roughly that amount the past almost 100 years. So thank God we are not investing in the government, right? I think most of us would agree that that wouldn't be a good use of our funds. Instead, we are investing in companies that are led by some of the smartest, innovative people in this country, right? And their job is to be good stewards of our capital and make sound decisions for their companies, no matter what the political landscape or the laws are. They will find a way to make good decisions for us, or else somebody will replace them if the decisions that they make aren't favorable. So just remember, we're not investing in the government, we're not investing in whoever is in the Oval Office, we're investing in great US-based companies. The other thing that we've talked about a lot with clients, and I love this quote from Morgan Housel, our advisor Ryan Atkins sent this over to us the past couple weeks. It says, "The past wasn't as good as you remember. The present isn't as bad as you think. The future will be better than you anticipate." And so I hope we can take all of that with us next week, no matter what happens, today is not as bad as you think, and the future is going to be even better than we can imagine. The last point, to just drive it home, is that I want to remind you, since we're investing in those companies in your portfolio, if you owned your own company, would you say, you know what, on Friday of this week, I'm going to sell my company, but next Friday, once we get through the election, I'm going to try and buy that company back, right? Or would you say, I'm selling my company this Friday, and you know what, in 4 years after the next election, I'll try and buy that company back? I don't know anybody that would do that, even if they could. I don't know anybody that says, yeah, that sounds like a sound idea. So keep that in mind. Your investments, we own companies in a broad, diversified portfolio. It doesn't make sense to sell them today in order to try and time and rebuy them in a week or a year or 4 years, because ultimately there's just more uncertainty than we could ever even know or try to predict. So let's stick with our plan, maybe take a deep breath, and we'll get through the next few days. A little bit of housekeeping items. We'll be reaching out in the fourth quarter if there's any required minimum distributions that we have to do with clients, if there's any tax planning that we need to do with them and their CPAs. This is usually a time of year where we're doing things like tax loss harvesting and converting IRAs to Roth IRAs or brokerage accounts if it makes sense to do so. So the next few months will actually be quite busy for us into the end of the year, and if we're doing any of those strategies for you, we'll be reaching out. Please pass this message along if there's anybody that you think needs to hear it. I appreciate all the support that we get from you guys. Hope you have a wonderful, happy Halloween, and we'll talk to you in November. Thanks.